In Indianapolis and Boston for the first two games of the regular season. We check the starting lineups first for Zalgiris Kaunas from Lithuania. They'll start Paulius Jankūnas, Aurelijus Žukauskas, and Jonas Mačiulis in the front court. Jankūnas and Mačiulis played with Darius Songaila this past summer on the Lithuanian national team. And in the backcourt, it's DeJuan Collins and Marcus Brown. Brown, who played at Murray State in Kentucky, and Collins, who played at LSU before transferring to Tuskegee. The Wizards will go with Caron Butler, Brendan Haywood, and Songaila, who started just one game last year after missing the first 45 with back surgery, the native Lithuanian. Antonio Daniels and Deshaun Stevenson in the backcourt. Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jamison will get the night off. 52-year-old Eddie Jordan in his fifth season as head coach of this team, assisted by Michael Koren, Phil Hubbard, Randy Ayers, Wes Unseld Jr., Dave Hopla, Eddie Tapscott, and the Wizards head athletic trainer Eric Waters. And there is Romantis Grigas, the head coach of the Zalgiris team. Zalgiris, who is one of the powers in Euroleague, and of course has won their own league many times, but they struggled last year going 2-12 in group play. They won the Euroleague title in 2003, 2004, and as you can see, they have a tremendous contingent on hand here in our nation's capital. We'll take a look at our ones to watch, Phil.
Well, again, this is a key time for the young players to get more experience out there. They've been averaging about 20 minutes per game, and we'll keep an eye on Nick Young, Petrov, as well as McGuire to see how they continue to develop. They've improved over the last couple of games already.
Our officials tonight: James Capers Jr., Tommy Nunez Jr., and Olandis Poole. Zalgiris Kaunas. As you look at the new high-definition scoreboard, we'll be featuring that throughout much of the season. The only one of its kind in the league, and it is beautiful. Lots of changes here at Verizon Center, and the scoreboard is the most prominent one. Caron Butler, first-time All-Star last season, along with Gilbert Arenas, who was named to the starting lineup for the third straight year. Gilbert will sit tonight's game out. Deshaun Stevenson got a new contract. Gilbert had the knee surgery after an April 4th collision here in this building against Gerald Wallace of the Charlotte Bobcats. Had the knee surgery and is back from it, trying to work himself into a groove, but he'll get a rest tonight. So we're underway here in Washington. Steve Buckhantz and Phil Chenier, glad you're with us tonight. The only home preseason game for the Wizards. 3 more to come against Atlanta, Detroit, and Toronto.
And again, Washington in the first 4 preseason games averaging a little over 21 steals, forced turnovers. They've averaged about 8+ steals, so they get the turnover, but you see Brendan can't convert on that basket. He's got to make those baskets when he's close like that, either dunk them or have the right kind of touch to get those balls to drop down. He has too good an inside position.
Zalgiris struggling a bit in their offensive sets, and again, the Wizards are looking to be more defensive-minded. Now they have an open shot, and they score. Paulius Jankūnas gets the basket for Zalgiris, who played twice against NBA teams, losing both games. Lost to Golden State 107-88, and lost a close one in Toronto the other day 105-99.
And you notice in both games, though, they've given up a lot of points. So look to see Washington. And once again, Brendan with good inside position, great effort inside, but you just hate to see him get that inside, work that hard, and come away with nothing.
Well, he's going to come away with 2 free throws here, and his free throw shooting in the preseason has been improved.
Oh, once again, Brendan working hard to get inside position, powers his way up. Again, that's a makeable shot. He's got to get that touchdown. And out of frustration, finally slams it down, but that won't count. He'll have to earn his 2 from the line.
And he gets the first one. Brendan Haywood, in his 7th season from North Carolina, will be 27 years old on November 11th. Cleveland drafted him originally back in 2001 with the 20th pick. Dealt to Orlando. The Wizards got him for Laron Profit. Gets them both. So the game is tied at 2. Knocked knocked out of bounds, and it should be Washington ball.
Again, I've got to mention that I've been impressed so far with Washington's rebounding. They've really done a good job on the defensive side, not giving up a lot of offensive rebounds. And then, as we said, crashing the offensive glass to make some things happen there.
And a holding foul is called on Paulius Yankunis, the forward. Keys to the rest of the preseason, Phil?
Well, you don't want to forget about your offense, so I think it's important to get that offensive continuity going. We haven't seen a big scoring output from Washington so far, and that means getting that field goal percentage up. And this particular game, let's play for pride. Only 2 teams of the international teams have won. In fact, Memphis and Toronto, the only 2 teams to lose to these international teams in preseason so far.
DeJuan Collins connects. He played at LSU back in the mid to late 90s, then the Tuskegee Institute on the Division II level. Wizards hit the boards, but rebound comes down to Zalgiris. Marcus Brown for 3, a little bit off the mark, and Haywood has it tipped away and saved inbounds by a hustling Zalgiris Kaunas squad. This time Daniels the errant shot. Antonio Daniels getting the start tonight. Coast to coast, and he is knocked to the ground and fouled.
Well, he had an option. Deshaun Stevenson was filling the lane on the far side, but all of a sudden he saw the opening down the middle, and that's what he does so well. Puts the ball, that's where you want the ball, in the middle. You have Karan on one side, Deshaun Stevenson on the other, so you have some outlets. You also have your trailers, but when you see that opening, you make the decision to take it all the way, and you saw the foul on well, they put Daniels to the line. I didn't see who fouled him. That's my mistake.
That's okay.
So who committed the foul?
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. It's going to be a challenge all night. That's a long 3-point attempt put up by Marcus Brown and then thrown and knocked away by Washington. Zalgiris, known as the Green Forest. It's basically a nickname. Kaunas is the city in Lithuania where this team hails from, northern Europe, located on the Baltic Sea, a country that borders Latvia, Belarus, and Poland. About 3.5 million people, and clearly basketball is the #1 sport in Lithuania. And that basket will not count, and the foul will be called on Darius Sangaila, native Lithuanian himself.
Well, speaking of Darius Sangaila, he was quoted as saying that this team over in Europe has a history somewhat like the Boston Celtics. They've won 13 titles in the last 17 years, so they have a strong winning tradition.
Stevenson pressures, gets the loose ball, and then lays it up and in.
Or just too strong for Brown, so he was able to muscle his way past him and then get his way to the rim and drop it in nicely.
DeJuan Collins directing traffic for Zalgiris. And the three-pointer good from Collins. DeJuan moved to Germany, then to Italy, back to Germany, and finally Lithuania. Haywood against a 7'2" player, and it counts, and a foul is called. And the foul was called on Aurelius Zhukauskas.
Good move.
7'2".
Let's see if he keeps that right foot down, or the left foot, I should say, and that he did keep it down. I thought for a moment it was traveling, but instead he takes it strong with the 2 hands, flushes it down, gets the foul, and he already has 5 points.
Brendan is 3 for 3 from the line. The foul was on Zhukauskas. That's his second personal. Looking to go inside, the ball knocked away, and an offensive foul is called on Zalgiris. Substitute coming in the game, Danis Jalenga checks in for Zalgiris, replacing Jonas Marchulis.
And I think the foul was called on Marchulis.
And that's his second personal. 8 minutes to play first quarter.
Yes.
Nice play. Daniels inside, couldn't finish. Haywood tips it up and in.
Well, great backdoor cut by Daniels and good recognition by Butler.
DeJuan Collins pops another and connects. Wizards are 3-1 in preseason play. Open up with a win against Cleveland. Beat Dallas over at George Mason's Patriot Center last Saturday night. Knocked off Philadelphia at Wachovia Center. And then lost the other night to Chicago. The Chicago team really threw the Wizards out of whack with their defense.
Yeah, well, they were very good offensively, too. I noticed they had 28 assists in that game, and that's a team that really shares the ball well, talking about Chicago. So they're very good at both ends of the floor.
Another three-point shot from DeJuan Collins, who was a member of the 2002-2003 Alba Berlin team that won the German national title. He's 4 for 4, has 10 points. 2 of his shots have been three-pointers. Stevenson will try another jumper, and that one's short. Zalgiris on top by 2. Baseline jumper off the nice kick out, and Caron Butler has the rebound. Butler, nice pass inside. Ooh, and Deshaun Stevenson hit the floor very hard, and he's slow to get up. He landed on his right side with his entire weight, but he's pulled himself up off the floor. Wizards giving Antoine Jamison and Gilbert Arenas a rest tonight.
I think they're going to get the foul on Yakunas. Watch, his momentum carries him into Deshaun, and he unfortunately hits him below the waist there, so that takes his feet out, and Deshaun hit the floor hard.
They did call it on Yankunas, and that's his second personal as Stevenson misses the free throw. And now Tanaka Beard will check in the game, another United States star who is from nearby Baltimore, Maryland. He played high school in Ogden, Utah, and then college ball at Boise State.
You know, it's interesting. I remember in the 70s when I was playing, they only allowed 2 American players to go over to any of the European teams and play. I think, and they wanted to cultivate talent over there. I think they've done that. So now it's pretty much open. You can have pretty much as many Americans or non-players from that particular country.
Tanaka Beard makes his presence felt instantly as he gets a nice shot after Haywood got a good block. And now at the other end, a foul is called on Danis Shalenga. Correction, I think they got the foul on Beard. And that's his first personal, and Caron Butler to the free throw line. Butler last year averaging 19 points, 7.5 boards, about 4 assists, and over 2 steals per game. He's in his 3rd year with the Wizards after they got him from the Lakers for Kwame Brown and Laurent Prophet back in the summer of 2005. Stevenson comes out. We get our first look at Andre Blatch and Roger Mason Jr.
And you can see from that stat, Washington already to the line 8 times, make it 9 times, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. So getting to the free throw line, something that they did very well last season as well.
Zalgiris with a 1-point lead, and they threw the ball away, but Tommy Nunez Jr. says it was tipped by the Wizards, and they'll give it back to the squad from Lithuania with a big contingent on hand tonight here in our nation's capital. The timeout on the floor. Earlier this evening, the Wizards organization bringing a gigantic card that they'll give to Etan Thomas and asking fans to sign the card so that they can let Etan know they're thinking about him, and certainly we all are, wishing him well. You saw the billboard, get well soon. Etan Thomas undergoing open heart surgery last week, and I
understand that card is about close to 6 feet tall, almost as tall as you.
Almost as tall as Etan. No, he's taller than 6 feet
almost
tall.
As you, I said.
Yeah, no, that's almost as tall as me. Paul Evans, our statistician, standing over 6 feet tall. Yeah. Heck, Lori Green, our stage manager, is about 6 feet tall.
Yep. I think they're allowing fans to come up there and sign it up until the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I did hear that. I also read where it's possible that Atan could be released from the hospital as soon as this weekend or sometime after this weekend. So we're all wishing and hoping and praying for him. Long jumper. That missed pretty badly.
Well, I think he was undecided between whether he was shooting it or a pass. And Beard was right there to put it back in.
So Tanaka Beard has come off the bench to help this team out here in the first quarter. Caron Butler driving, scooping, layup no good. Blatch is there to put it up and in. That's what the Wizards are going to be counting on much of this season, especially with Atan Thomas out, and that's the play from Andre Blatch in the middle.
And he showed in a few games last year where those long arms can really be advantageous. Very active in there. Sporting a new look too, new haircut.
Yep. Inside, nice pass, but the layup is missed, and here comes Butler the other way. And then blocking foul is called on Zalgiris. And it's charged to DeJuan Collins. Well, for Andre Blatchfield, this is his third season. Of course, he came off the shooting incident his first year, missed training camp, and really was not much of a factor. Last year, beginning to show some signs. And now, really, this year, I think he's made huge strides.
I agree. And, of course, this is the typical year in your third season when I think teams and organizations really look to see a player make some major strides and either implant himself into this league as a bona fide player or not. And I think that's what the challenge that Andre has taken upon himself. He's put a lot of work in during the summer, and so far it seems to be paying off. But again, they can really use that size and that agility that he has on the inside.
And clearly that was manifested by the faith that Ernie Grunfeld has in him. Grunfeld signing Andre Blatch to a new 5-year contract extension this past August. So he expects great things from him. He thinks he's going to be a terrific player. There's Ernie Grunfeld.
I understand there were some teams that were very interested in trying to see if they could pick Blatch away from the Wizards.
Andre just 21 years old, and he had that birthday on August 22nd. Nice move inside. The shot missed, and Butler with a rebound. Tied up at 16. Looking for Songaila, and he's held down low by Goran Juric.
That's something else I've seen from Andre this year as well in the preseason. At the top of the key there at 7 feet, he's able to kind of look over the defense. He's made some good decisions, and he has a very good touch for his entry passes. That time setting up Songaila and forcing the foul.
Darius Songaila, native Lithuanian, but of course played his college ball at Wake Forest. Prior to the Wizards, played a couple of seasons in Chicago after his first 2 years in Sacramento. Gets both free throws. Last year, he played a total of 37 games. He missed the first 45 after surgery to repair that herniated disc in his back.
Eddie Tapscott shared something with me kind of funny. He said he went up to Darius and said, "So this is where you're from. So you're kind of like a god there. You're kind of like the man." He said, "No, I am the man."
Well,
I like that kind of confidence in Darius.
Well, if he's the man, then what would Arvydas Sabonis be? Because he's the real man, not only the man, but the president of the team.
He's the man that pays the man.
That's right. Butler inside, and he lost it out of bounds. They'll give it to Washington.
Of course, Arvydas Sabonis for years playing with the Portland Trail Blazers, and for years considered the best big man to ever come out of Europe.
And do you remember when the Wizards would travel to Portland, the Lithuanian contingent that would wait for Sabonis after each game? And they did that. And now they're going to call a foul on Songaila, which is very interesting. I thought he was held coming to the ball, but nevertheless, that contingent would show up for every Portland game and every game that Portland would play on the road.
Much like the crowd here.
A huge crowd for Lithuania here. And he would wait after each game, patiently talk to every fan, sign every autograph. It was quite something to see. Marcus Brown Guarded by Roger Mason Jr. with 6 to shoot. Splits defenders, challenges, lays it up, can't get the roll, and Blatch is there.
When we're talking about a 7-footer like Blatch that can bring the ball up. If there's no outlet, Roger Mason, it leads to his jumper.
Nice form by Roger Mason Jr. Has that stroke working nicely in the preseason. That's knocked away, and Blatch has the steal. Up ahead to Daniels, racing for the ball, and now he goes inside to Blatch for Butler. Underneath, draws contact, score the field goal, and he'll go to the line.
On 2 separate occasions, it's been Andre Blatch that has ignited the fast break. He's got the ball in the middle and got things off and running.
Wizards on a 9-2 run with a timeout in D.C.
Well, Andre Blatch right here has come into the game and made things happen very quickly. He's going to get this rebound. And again, at 7 feet, to be able to handle the ball as well as he does, you see, he doesn't see an outlet, so he pushes it up himself, leads to this Roger Mason basket. They hustle down to the other end. Blatch now comes up with the steal. Once again, ignites the break, and they get something good out of it. Washington has a 9-0 advantage in fast break points, and Andre Blatch showing his versatility.
For those of you who may not recall his story, his rookie season, Blatch was shot in the chest in September. That was in 2005 in nearby Alexandria, Virginia, when a couple of men attempted to hijack his car near his home. The bullet went just above his chest area, nearly glancing his heart, and through his wrist, exited out his side. Clearly he was not in any shape to play basketball. He was happy to be alive. Missed all of training camp, so his rookie season was a bit sporadic. Came back last year and played 56 games, averaged about 4 points, 3.5 rebounds.
Once again, good pressure defensively by the Wizards. Kind of got this team out of sync, kind of threw their timing off and running their offense. It results in a poorly shot, and Washington got the rebound. And watch again, good pressure out there. They're talking out there. You see Blatch step up. The air ball there, Karan is off and running. You have a foul there, a blocking foul, sending Butler back to the line, and already Washington going to the line 14 times. They're 11 for 14 from the free throw line.
And Zalgiris has not attempted a free throw. And the Wizards have outraced him on the fast break, 10-0 so far. That last foul called on Danis Shalenga. And we get our first look in the game at Marko Popovic, who played college ball at Southern Idaho in Division II. He's from Croatia, wears number 24 for this Zalgiris team. Spinning inside, ball knocked away on the floor, but saved. Here's Popovic.
Oh, picked off nicely by Butler.
And Butler with a big slam right into the face of Mantis Kalnietis.
We'll give Mantis some credit for challenging that shot, but you saw Butler just rise up above him and throw it down.
Wizards on a 14-2 run. And Alexei Petcherov in the game for Washington from the Ukraine, not far from Lithuania. Pass knocked out of bounds by Zalgiris, and Wizards ball.
Well, Karan had a couple of options. He had Roger Mason spotting up behind the three, but he also had Andre Blatch underneath the basket. That was his intended target.
Wizards will get their first look tonight at Dominic McGuire checking into the game and giving Karan Butler a rest as we check our quarterly report. And Collins has 10 points for Zalgiris. Brendan Haywood started fast, has 7 points for Washington. Haywood getting a rest now. They go with Mason and Petcherov. Blatch, Nick Young in the game along with Dominic McGuire. Here's McGuire. Inside pass, nicely done for Blatch.
Yeah, good recognition. McGuire with a huge height advantage over Popovic, but then made the right pass to a cutter from the other side, and Blatch had the easy two.
So Butler takes a seat with 10 points and 4 rebounds, 6 of 7 from the free throw line in 10 minutes of play. Kalnietis misses, tipped around to Blatch. Blatch stutter step and fouled by Popovich.
More and more, you're seeing Andre feeling very comfortable.
Yep.
If he has to take that ball down the middle himself, doing just the right thing. And we're going to take a look at him again. We've already shown you a couple of times where he's felt comfortable. Now, once again, and this time has to stutter step. Much smaller opponent, but still is able to get by him and draw the foul.
Something when you look at a man with a 6'11" frame like that who can handle the ball, and of course has always been an excellent passer. He sees the court extremely well. You know, I'm often asked about what's the difference between players nowadays and years ago, you know, when you played or before when you played, and then that's it right there. I mean, bigger players are becoming more agile and more capable of doing a lot of things out there on the floor. Blatch 2 of 2 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the line, 3 rebounds, 6 points, and Nick Young called for the foul. What are your impressions of Nick Young so far in the preseason, Phil? Well, you know, the jury's still out. I think he's a player that is so talented. Playing at USC, he was used to getting his shots, certainly handling the ball a lot. Now he has to be a lot more selective on his shots. He has to do a better job of setting his opponents up and getting high percentage shots and then putting them down. Popovich around the screen. Long jumper from Kalnietis, no good, and Blatch with another rebound. Pecharov not afraid to take that jump shot. (31-18) Washington with 30 seconds to play, first quarter. Popovich around Blatch, kicks it out. Swing it to the corner for Uric. And 3 seconds is called on Zalgiris. Fans, you ready to see Gilbert Caron and Antoine Jamison take on fellow NBA All-Stars and go for the Wizards All-Star plan to see the Big Three as they match up against some of the NBA's best? For more info, log on to WashingtonWizards.com or call 202-661-5050. Antoine Jamison, Gilbert Arenas getting a rest tonight. They will not play. Blatch for the baseline jumper. Tell you what, Phil, he's looking better and better and more comfortable, as you said, in each game. And that's the key word there, feeling much more comfortable, looking comfortable out there. Good first quarter. Really was. Wizards pretty much dominated. They went to the free throw line 18 times and made 15 of them, while Zalgiris did not take a free shot, and Washington ends the quarter on a 20-2 run, including the last 15. It's 33-8. Step over and help his man out to deny any penetration down the middle. And again, it's just good team defense. They continue to rotate well, cover up, force things to go outside, and eventually you get the turnover with the 3-second call. Wizards did not commit a turnover in the first quarter, while Zalgiris committed 6. And as you see, Washington with 4 steals, 15 of 18 from the free throw line. I'm really impressed with 15 for 18 from the free throw line. Washington not turning the ball over, but also doing a good job defensively. Blatch nearly had it stolen away, regains possession, and now there's pressure on him, and he lost the ball. Into the corner, the long jumper off the rim, and Roger Mason Jr. is there. And he is fouled by Popovich. Washington really tightened up the last 5 or 6 minutes of that first quarter. Zalgiris shooting 6 of 13 over the first 8 minutes, but then the last 5 minutes only 2 of 13. So Washington doing a much better job, and as you said, forcing the turnovers and really getting them out of their offense. Whistle and a foul called on Jonas Mačiulis, who played on the Lithuanian national team with Darius Songaila this past summer. Mason works free for the open J, a little bit short. Rebound to Blatch, and the ball tipped out of bounds by Tanaka Beard. It'll be Washington possession.
Now that pass got away, but I tell you what, I saw just what Andre Blatch had in mind. He was going to whip a quick pass over to Petrov, and had Petrov been able to handle it, it would have been an easy 2.
Fresh 24, Young with that wicked crossover. The jumper is good. That's his patented move, folks. You'll get used to it. He likes to cross over from right to left, shaking the defender.
Well, I like the fact that he's a player that can create his own shot.
Popovich trying to do the same, and he got fouled by Nick Young. Wizards will be in Atlanta on October 22nd. That's this Monday. Then Detroit on the 24th and Toronto the 26th. There's the Young jumper. Popovich free for his baseline shot. Good. And James Capers Jr. says score the field goal, and a loose ball foul on Dominic McGuire. So that's going to put Jonas Mačiulis at the free throw line for the first free tries of the night for Lithuania.
Dominic got called for that foul, but I like what he's trying to do. He's trying to pay attention to detail, box out, even, you know, when you see the ball go in, playing it all the way to the end of the play. That time got a little over physical and picked up the foul.
So the basket and the free throw for the Lithuanian squad that won the Euroleague title in 1937, 39, and in 2003. Last year struggling, did not get out of their group, going just 2-12. So they vowed to make this a comeback season. Here's McGuire, Wizards' second-round pick from Fresno State. Petrov, nice move to free himself, and he scores.
Yeah, you see him kind of slow the pace down. He realized that he had a great size advantage. He took his time and elevated over the defender.
We didn't know much about his ability to play in the low post, but he's shown us in the preseason that he's got some pretty good moves
once
there.
He started getting to the low post early on, he was spending an awful lot of time out on the perimeter.
Baseline shot from Manis Kalnietis. 37-23 Washington. And the Wizards turn it over. Popovich again for the long jumper, good. 3-point field goal for Marko Popovich, who came in off the bench.
Wizards, who had no turnovers in the first quarter, now have 2. Don't want to start getting careless with the ball.
Fans beginning to chant from the Lithuanian contingent. Blatch hits another.
That's one way to make that defender respect your outside shot.
Andre Blatch has made all 4 of his jumpers, all 2 of his free throws, has 5 rebounds, a couple of assists. Petrov tips it up. With Blatch and Petrov in there, you've got 2 pretty well 7-footers. Petrov, top of the key for 3, a little short. Wizards are 3-1. Last year they went 4-4 in the preseason. Nice pass off underneath. Shot is missed, and Nick Young tips the rebound to himself. Blatch again, underneath Petrov, beautiful pass.
That's the passing I was talking about, being able to see the floor clearly and identify those passing lanes and quickly deliver the pass. Good job.
Andre Blatch, who went to Henninger High School in Syracuse for 4 years, then a 5th year at South Kent Prep in Connecticut. Foul is called on Roger Mason Jr. Meantime, McGuire, Petrov, Nick Young. We'll hear from the rookies when we come back to Washington after this timeout.
Everything's new. It's a grind right now, just learning.
Means new for me, you know. I don't know much about this. I'm looking forward to be part of the team, and I will do my best to help my team.
Doing a lot of extra work outside of basketball, and going to get donuts, and, you know, doing all the little things too.
Going to get donuts.
Welcome to the NBA.
Did they make you go get donuts your first year?
Well,
really?
not donuts, but I think I did that once for Tresvant, because when we were staying over the Quality Inn, they had a donut shop right around the corner. I had to go get him. But I do know they used to make you carry the bags, the ball bags, the clocks, whatever added equipment was being brought, you had to carry it. And you were the first one kicked out of first class if they didn't have any first class seats.
Well, this is an unusual luxury for Eddie Jordan. Remember last year, none of these rookies were around. Even Petrov, who was drafted a summer before last, but didn't play here. And now they've got essentially 3 rookies that are going to be counted on and hopefully help this team.
Showing good signs so far.
Nice dish off, and Kalnietis scores. Mantis Kalnietis played in the Japan World Championship. Nice pass from the big man as well. Here's Blatch. Andre with a good spin move, working underneath, changing direction, and scoring off the glass.
Well, that's going to be a handful for any big man when you talk about somebody that has that kind of mobility.
He has not missed, Phil. He's made all 5 of his shots, has 12 points and 5 rebounds. Nice pass, little hook shot, doesn't go. Blatch had it off his fingertips and taken by Machulis.
Petrov got a piece of that shot. I'll see if they give him credit for a block shot.
Popovich off a screen, can't connect, but chased down by Zalgiris. And Kalnietis will set it up again. Under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Steve Buckhantz, Phil Chenier. That was tipped, and Petrov has it. Wizards run 3-on-1.
Well, I tell you what, Alexei has to be careful making sure he stopped. I think a better defender probably would have stepped in there and gotten that charge in that 3-on-1 situation. Got to make sure that you deliver the pass. But again, how nice is it to have another 7-footer that feels comfortable handling the ball?
Popovich was fouled on a 3-point attempt, and Nick Young the guilty party, so he'll shoot 3.
See, here's this fast break I'm talking about. Petrov does a good job to this point, handling to the middle. It's 3-on-1, actually 4-on-1. And you can see he's up in the air. His momentum could take him slightly forward. Good defender gets locked into that position, gets that contact, possibly get the charge.
Yeah, that defender sort of turned his back and went away from him, didn't take advantage of the positioning. And now Popovich for 3. Lithuanian squad was a bronze medal winner in '92, '96, and the 2000 Summer Olympics. And we mentioned Arvydas Sabonis, that's the head coach, Grigas. Other notables from Lithuania, of course, Z, who plays for Cleveland, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Šarūnas Marčiulionis, Šarūnas Jasikevičius, who played locally here at the University of Maryland, and a former Washington Capital star, Dainis Zubris, from Lithuania. There's Darius Songaila. Donnell Taylor in the game for the Wizards. Petrov off a screen, 4-3, little strong, hit it twice, and a loose ball foul will be called on Donnell Taylor. Of course, another Lithuanian player from the area, Linas Kleiza, who plays for the Denver Nuggets, born in Kaunas, Lithuania, but went to Montrose Christian in Rockville, Maryland, playing a couple of seasons under Stu Vetter, and was named the Gatorade High School Player of the Year for the state of Maryland in 2003.
And Steve, I think that just goes to back up. I mean, this is a country of less than 4 million people, and you've named a number of people that have made it to the NBA and pretty well respected in terms of their basketball game. And I think, like you said before, basketball is the #1 sport there in Lithuania, and they have players to show for it.
And born in America but of Lithuanian descent, Johnny Unitas, Dick Butkus, and Vitas Gerulaitis. Taylor in the lane, a little bit short, and the rebound comes to Collins. DeJuan Collins, a reach-in foul called on Donnell Taylor.
I meant to mention, you talked about that, and well, I'll save it for after this break.
17-point lead cut to 12 with a timeout, just under 6 to go, first half. There's a look at the new high-definition scoreboard installed here at Verizon Center in its 10th season as we see the Wizards lead Zalgiris by 12, and our quarterly report. What a performance from Andre Blatch.
Wow, you can't get much better than that line. 14 points, a perfect 6 for 6. Has 5 rebounds, a couple of steals. We've also seen him set teammates up and igniting a fast break where Washington has a huge advantage there. So, yeah, he's off to a terrific start tonight and throughout the first 4 games, I might add. And looking, showing you that mohawk look there.
Yeah, just noticing that.
Yeah.
Nice young fella. The brunt of some jokes supplied by Gilbert Arenas. Often they trade barbs back and forth. Season before last, Arenas covered Blatch's face with shaving cream when he fell asleep on an airline flight. And then
you can't be too sensitive around these guys.
Not around Gilbert Arenas. And that wasn't good enough for Arenas. He walked into the back and asked us if anybody had a camera.
so we could take pictures of it.
We gave him our cell phone so that we could take pictures and record a video of it, which we still have to this day. Haven't made it public yet, but we'll see what we might be able to get for that.
I was going to say, a little blackmail there, sounds like.
In this day and age, everything seems to show up somewhere. Nice give and go, and another foul. This time will be charged to Nick Young, as Zalgiris ran the transition nicely there.
See, the important thing about a game like this is to maintain your focus and concentration. Washington had a lead, I think as large as 18 at one time. And you want to stay with your offense. You want to stay with your game plan in terms of defense, forcing turnovers, keeping things out the middle, and keeping their opponents in a low percentage shooting situation. Nick Young having to retreat on defense, reaches in, gets a piece of the ball, but also the foul.
And he picks up his 4th personal. And both free throws are missed. And the Wizards' 17-point lead down to 11. Mike Hall in the game, a former star at George Washington University. McGuire all the way, and that's rejected by Zalgiris. And Olandis Poole wants to hold things up because the 24-second clock never moved. They'll put it at 21 seconds.
Well, coaches never feel real comfortable, especially the coach on the offensive side, because what it does is it disrupts your opportunity for a fast break, or you usually find your defense is still scrambling, trying to get back into position, and you blow the whistle to set the clock. You know, they don't think too kindly of that.
No, I can imagine. Shot missed, but the follow is there from Zalgiris, who, when you just take a glance at him, you think of Zydrunas, with same number, and looks a little bit like him. Nice pass. Beautifully done. McGuire to Hall.
He also has made a couple of real nifty passes tonight, finding the open man, even though he had a shot himself.
Popovich again off the screen. That guy can get hot, but he missed it, and Blatch with excellent position. His 6th rebound of the game. Here's Hall from the baseline for the open jumper. No good. 4.5 to play first half. Wizards up by 11. Blatch with another nice steal. Well, you pull those arms up there, he becomes about 15 feet tall.
But more importantly, he had his eye on the ball. He was able to pick that pass off because he had good court vision. He saw the ball as well as the cutter.
Taylor lost the pass and turned it over. And that will result in an easy 2 for Zalgiris. And the lead is now into single digits at 9 after the Wizards led by as many as 17 in this quarter. Zalgiris on a 20-12 run. Daniels pulls up way short on the jumper. And the rebound to DeJuan Collins. Nice play by Donnell Taylor for the steal. going to go all the way to lay it up, no good. Follow not there by McGuire, and the rebound by Zalgiris, and a foul is called on Donnell Taylor. That's his third personal.
Well, Donnell really had nowhere to go on that shot. Thought he was going to be able to draw some contact, but that wasn't the case. And Washington will send this team to the line. Did a good job of staying inbounds.
And just the presence of Zhugauskas causing Donnell Taylor to fret a little bit. And now Eddie Jordan will get Darius Sangaila and Brendan Haywood back into the lineup. Zalgiris 7 of 10 from the free throw line, all in the second quarter. They didn't shoot one charity shot in the first. And the Wizards 15 of 18 from the line, all in the first quarter.
That happens quite a bit. You see one team get a huge advantage from the line, and the next quarter, the next period, you find things flip-flop.
And now apparently there's some blood on one of the players, and Wizards head athletic trainer Eric Waters will be summoned onto the court. And now they're going to, well, they were asking for a Band-Aid.
You know, I'm wondering if it was one of the Wizard players or one of the players from...
It was one of the Zalgiris players, and they got their trainer to work on it. And it was DeJuan Collins, the shooter. Misses on his free throw and puts a hex on the rim. I don't see that too often.
The hex off. That's what.
Yeah, maybe that's what he did.
There was a lid on top of it. An invisible lid.
Yeah.
There it is.
So the lead is 8 for the Wizards, who run Eddie Jordan's offense. Leaving Sangaila, now Taylor. Donnell Taylor pumps up the shot and rims it. Alley-oop underneath Popovich. He couldn't handle the pass. Interception by Daniels. Daniels strong to the hoop and throws it down.
Boy, we talked to him before that Philadelphia game. One of the things he said is, first of all, that his body fat was, what, 4%? Said he was in the best shape he's ever been in. Went back to San Antonio and worked during the offseason, but did a good job of picking that last pass off.
Antonio can still get it done. 32 years old. Wizards maintain the lead by 10. Wizards by 10 over Zalgiris of Kaunas in Lithuania. There's Redskin tight end Mike Sellers. Boy, that's one guy I wouldn't want to try to tackle. He is just a beast.
They list him at 270?
He's huge. Just hurting people on the football field. Hey, Wizards fans, time for home rule. The Wizards are ready to take on the Orlando Magic in their home opener. That'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow night, Saturday, November 3rd. Tickets are still available. On sale for games through the end of December, in fact, including matchups against Shaq and the Heat, LeBron and the Cavs, and the Phoenix Suns. So call 202-397-SEAT or log on to WashingtonWizards.com to get your tickets right now. Donnell Taylor penetrates and is called for traveling. Welcome fans across the country watching tonight on NBA TV as well. Steve Buckhantz, Phil Chenier, our statistician Paul Evans here in Washington. And our Comcast Sportsnet crew back together again for another season of Wizards basketball. Antonio Daniels with Mike Hall, Donnell Taylor, Brendan Haywood, and Darius Sangaila on the floor for the Wizards. It's tipped away, and a foul called on Tanaka Beard. Third personal on Beard. What about the Wizards shooting so far this preseason, Phil?
Well, up to tonight, you can see the first 4 games, 37%, but they've been putting a lot of their energy and effort into the defensive side, and you expect that offense to pick back up. And tonight, that's what has happened. right around 45% shooting.
Haywood is muscled by Beard and draws contact, and Brendan Haywood will head to the free throw line where he is 3 for 3 tonight.
When you come out here early and watch these guys work, especially Brendan, that's a move that he really likes to work on. That look to the middle and then turn back to his right with the jump hook shot. And as you said, Steve, Brendan has been working from the line, and so far tonight is perfect.
Well, he was a 55% free throw shooter last year, down from 58.5% the season before. Tonight he is shooting 100% and is 5 for 5. (51-39), and let's see what happens. They're going to call goaltending, and a foul is called. So count the basket, and I believe the foul's on Darius Songaila.
Well, remember when we talked about playing good defense means maintaining and containing the dribble penetration, and that time it got away from him. We saw Collins get along the baseline and get to the basket. I think whoever blocked it, I thought it was Haywood, got a piece of it, but it was after it came off the glass.
So the third personal foul called on Songaila, and Collins completes the three-point play. And again cuts the lead to 9 with 1.5 to go here in half number 1 from Washington. And Songaila with a quick move. Let's see if they count the basket. I don't think they will.
I think he's pointing to out on the floor.
Yep.
But haven't really seen Darius. He's only taken 2 shots, and you know, he's such a very solid perimeter shooter. Has good form and good balance on his release. He really hasn't gotten into the offensive flow so far tonight. He too is a player that along with Andrea Blatch, I'm sure the coaching staff is really looking towards him contributing major. Or ill effects, I should say, from the back surgery he had last year.
That was for a herniated disc, and it caused him to miss the first 45 games of the season. Songaila was actually drafted by the Celtics with the 50th overall pick in 2002. Then they traded his rights to Sacramento for a couple of future second-round picks, but he decided to play in Russia in the 2002-2003 season. And while he was born in Lithuania, he went to high school at New Hampton Prep in New Hampshire.
Donnell Taylor with the baseline jumper off a nice pick.
Under a minute to go, 55-42 Washington. Wizards playing without Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jamison. They get the night off. Wizards hoping that a healthy team will put them back where they were last season when they were healthy, and that was about midway through the season when they had the best record in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, look back over December and January, they had a 22-9 record. And of course, as you said, ended up in first place right around All-Star break, and that enabled Eddie Jordan to coach the All-Star team, the Eastern All-Star team. But yeah, this was one of the hottest teams in the league, and had some exciting wins out on the West Coast. Not to mention right here at the Verizon Center.
Then, as you recall, Antoine Jamison injured a knee and missed 12 games in that stretch. That came at the end of January here, and the Wizards went 4-8 in those 12 games, and that really hurt them. Then he came back healthy, and then, of course, in April, they lost Arenas, and a couple of days later lost Garon Butler.
Yeah. That trio has been one of the top scoring trio over the last couple of years.
Nice play. Forced interception, but the pass a little too strong for Daniels. I think thrown out of bounds.
I think AD hesitated for a minute. I think Mike made a nice pass, and I think that a little bit of hesitation stopped him from running that ball down.
So Zalgiris can take the final shot of the half. Trailing by 15. The jumper, and it does not go at the buzzer from Shalenga. And a big half from Andre Blatch, who did not miss. He made all 6 of his field goals, both of his free throws, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 14 points. Halftime with the Wizards up by 15. We send it back to our Comcast Sportsnet studios in Bethesda and join David Lee. On a night where All-Stars Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jamison are getting a rest, the rest of their Wizards teammates have done the job, leading Zalgiris Kaunas of Lithuania by 15 points in the first half of play. Andre Blatch was all but perfect in the first half of play. Blatch, in fact, did not miss coming off the bench, making all 6 of his field goals, both of his free throws, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Caron Butler had 10 points. He was 6 of 7 from the free throw line and had 4 rebounds.
He last year one of the league leaders in steals, comes away with one of his 2 steals in that first half. Here gets a nice pass from Andre Blatch and then powers his way eventually with the 3-point play. Once again, seeing that passing lane, taking care of business, and then flushing it home. Butler, a good night for him. 10 points, 4 rebounds.
Played about 10.5 minutes of play. The leading scorers for Zalgiris, DeJuan Collins had 17. Popovich off the bench for 10. Beard had 6. Kalnietis 4. And the Lithuanian squad fighting back. They were down by 17. They cut it to 8. And the Wizards went up by 15 at the half. Coming up tonight on Sports Night, Kelly Johnson goes one-on-one with Santana Moss, and we'll look at the Ravens and the Bills preview and homecoming for the Terps in College Park. It's all coming up on Sports Night. Wizards will be back here on November the 3rd. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow night, and that is the opener of the home opener of the regular season against the Orlando Magic. They'll open the regular season in Indianapolis on October 31st, and 2 nights later play at Boston to take on the new-look Celtics.
Yeah, that'll be their home opener, and a lot of people are looking to see what kind of progress that team is going to make with the major changes, adding Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett.
Gilbert Arenas has already guaranteed a victory in that game at Boston. If you go to Gilbert's blog, which you can see from either the Wizards website, WashingtonWizards.com, or go to NBA.com, it's rather entertaining and fairly enlightening.
You know, that's a popular thing now. I noticed, as I saw where Luol Deng just started his blog. Of course, Gilbert was the first player to start that. In fact, about a year ago to the day, back last year in October.
And you'll get all kinds of information from Gilbert, including the release dates for Gil Zero, his new shoes. He'll have 20 different look shoes throughout the course of the season in different locations, all customized and all personalized by Gilbert Arenas. So keep an eye on that as well. Here's Caron Butler's jumper, a little short. Tip up and in by Darius Sangaila, the native Lithuanian.
That's Darius' first field goal tonight.
Underway, 3rd quarter. Steve Buckhantz, Phil Chenier, and our Comcast Sportsnet crew. Our producer Rich Wolf, director Chris Grain, graphic artist Matt Mastracci, and our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew back for another season of Wizards basketball.
Once again, that pressure, Sangaila stepping out and putting a lot of pressure on Collins and forcing the turnover.
Well, the Lithuanian contingent is a large one. You can see them. They're dressed in their native colors, and they've come all the way from as far as Chicago, some from New York. I was outside the building earlier as Sangaila hits again. And they were parading around with the Lithuanian flag. Very proud group and very energetic, and they love basketball.
Sounded good before the game, cheering for their squad. And
foul will be called inside, and it is on Darius Songaila. In fact, we heard the Lithuanian national anthem before the game, and we hear the Canadian national anthem quite a bit, but never the Lithuanian national anthem. That was interesting.
It's the first time we've played them.
Soccer and cycling are very big in Lithuania, but not as big as basketball. And that basket will not count. A lane violation was called on Aurelius Zhukauskas, and part of the celebration here, a gift exchange prior to the game. I don't know what the Wizards got because they're in a bag, but I know that they gave a Wizards DC hat to the Lithuanian squad. And an offensive foul is called on Brendan Haywood.
Got to stay still when you set those picks. And they caught Brendan moving around trying to headhunt. And it'll be another turnover, the 7th for Washington.
He looks over at Orlando's Poole, gives him a big smile. Poole looks back at him as if to say, yeah, well, I got you on that one. Yankunis with a turnaround jumper. Yankunis and Jonas Mačiulis both played with Darius Songaila this past summer on the Lithuanian team. Butler drives and gets an easy left-handed layup.
Beautiful crossover. Fake towards the middle with the right, then cross back over with the left.
The big man left open. And just like Z, he drops that one down. Aurelius Zhukauskas. He's from Russia, standing at 7'2", but the Wizards answer.
Boy, a nice give and go between Caron Butler and Antonio Daniels.
Three-point shot not there. Rebound up, taken by Lithuania's squad, and Mačiulis converts. Wizards are 3-1 in the preseason. Victories over Cleveland, Dallas, Philadelphia, losing to Chicago the other night. Butler springs free and connects. But Caron Butler, the only one of the so-called big three that's playing tonight. Jamison and Arenas have the night off. The Wizards will be in Atlanta on Monday night, take on the Hawks. Paulus Yankunis with another outside jumper. 67-52 Washington. Deshaun Stevenson answers.
Well, both teams coming out in this third quarter, both teams have shot the ball well. Washington has been a little bit better at getting easier shots.
Ball on the floor nearly stolen. And they swing it. Marcus Brown no good. Battling for the rebound. Rejected by Haywood. And now they'll reset. Another block for Brendan Haywood. Three-point shot is good from Jonas Mačiulis. Stevenson knocked away from behind, and a loose ball foul will be called on Marcus Brown. No, they got it on Aurelius Zhukauskas.
Well, like I said before, I think it's important not to allow these games to kind of get away from you and make sure you stay within your offense. This is the time to really work on that timing and execution, and at both ends of the court for that matter.
Daniels on a fading jumper, not there. The rebound comes to Yankunis. His 8th rebound of the game. Anytime Zhukauskas just picked up his 4th personal. Wizards by 14. Nice pass, knocked off the hands of Zalgiris, and it'll be Wizards ball.
I like the idea of Kaunas trying to make that pass off the reception with the left hand. He's a lefty anyway.
Daniels, nice move. Haywood is there for the rebound and the follow slam.
That's the benefits of penetration. You force that defense to kind of commit themselves to one player. If there's a missed shot, you have offensive rebound opportunities.
11 points, 4 rebounds for Haywood. Butler with anticipation. Nice move for Daniels and an easy layup. That was beautifully done.
It really was. Starting with the steal by Butler and then having to go behind the back to avoid a defender. That set up the 3-on-1. Then he gets the assist too.
73-55, and Olandis Poole stops play and calls a foul on Antonio Daniels.
Well, Karan, who had 2 steals in the first half, comes away with another one and then goes behind the back. Now it's 3-on-1, delivers the pass to Daniels for the easy layup. Nice job done.
Into the corner, another 3 fired up, not there. AD will run the break for Sangaila. Knocked up into the air. He wanted a foul, didn't get it, and then Stevenson steals it. Deshaun scoops for Butler. Underneath Haywood. Nice passing. Zalgiris lost at Golden State 107-88. That game was in Oakland, and then they lost up in Toronto 105-99. And a foul as Butler tries to come around for the steal. So the Wizards have their largest lead of the game. When we come back, we'll hear from Gilbert Arenas on the status of his knee and his preparation for this season.
Oh, the knee's doing better. I just got I got my knee drained, so I'm going to be out for 3 days. This is going to be my 3rd day. I'll be back on Monday, ready to play. So, I needed some of that fluid that was restricting me from getting stronger in my leg. Now that I got that out, my knee feels a lot better.
You had a chance to speak with Gilbert before the game, Phil, and do you get the impression that he's working his way back to 100% on that knee?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't detect any kind of concern on his part. Like I said, watching him play, obviously the shot's not falling for him, but obviously watching him move left and right, cutting. We've seen him hit the floor a couple of times. I mean, that's what you want to see. Plus, you want to see if there's any mental anguish after surgery, as a guy being a little tentative in terms of driving. We didn't see that. We haven't seen that from Gilbert.
You look at the smile on his face, there doesn't seem to be any mental anguish there. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, and coming off his 3rd straight All-Star appearance. Of course, he started for the Eastern team after gaining a flurry of votes there in the last couple of weeks to get that starting spot. Stevenson, nice pass, Haywood. Blocked, they'll call a jump ball. Brendan's trying to say that one guy was underneath
him. That's what happened. Kind of took his legs out, so he wasn't able to elevate at all. It was the secondary defender that got his hand on the ball. And I think they're still going to stick with the jump ball.
Yeah, even Caron Butler went over to Tommy Nunez Jr. to talk to him about that call.
Well, take a look again. Nice pass from Deshaun. And you got somebody sandwiched in between them.
Yeah, not a bad call. And it's interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that Beard with the block? And they had somebody else setting up there. Now they got it.
We haven't, in our preseason telecast, we have not heard any repercussions whatsoever from the Tim Donaghy incident this summer. Now, that may or may not surface, later in the season when games take on much more meaning, become critical down the stretch. Who knows what kind of heckling these guys may find themselves a part of. But so far, you really haven't heard anybody even mention what happened.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the case, that they don't have any repercussions from it. Fans just let them do their job. But you look at other stories. How about Kobe Bryant? I just don't see him leaving the Lakers. I think there's too many variables, the salary cap being a major one. And what do you replace? You know, there's talk of Chicago possibly giving up some players, but
a lot of players.
Yeah. So now he goes to Chicago. He's in the same situation. Although I think he has some pretty good talent around him, and I understand there's a point guard there with the Lakers that is a rookie that is doing quite well. They're very high on his play. Of course, that's probably been one of their weak areas is point guard play.
Also, the Celtics with their new three, we alluded to that momentarily in the first half, but with Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett there to join Paul Pierce, they are formidable to say the least. Yeah,
well, I'm not ready to give them the Eastern Conference or even their division yet. Obviously, they're going to be much improved. But, I mean, to pull all that together, I mean, you've got to have it's necessary to have that point guard, that glue that distributes the ball and makes sure that things run very cohesively. I think the three of them are at the stage in their career where personal goals are not that big of a thing. They want to win a championship. They want to get deep into the playoffs.
And it appears so far in the preseason we've seen Kevin Garnett be very selfless and share the basketball.
You've seen Ray Allen, who's had a couple of really big scoring games in a short period of time in terms of preseason minutes.
Marcus Brown connects on a three-point shot and cuts the lead from 20 to 13. Daniels pressured. He's in some trouble. Finds Petrov. He's got to fire the jumper. He does, and he misses. So the Lithuanians with a bit of a spark trying to get back into this game. Maciulis is fouled on the pass. There'll be no shots taken.
Once again, Washington shooting just under 50% for the game. They've had a lot of good things working for them offensively. Obviously, points off of turnovers, but they've also executed their offense. So you have a couple of times down where you take some long shots. The shot clock winds down. So now you've got to make sure you get back into the offense, run it, and get those high percentage shots that you were getting when you were being successful.
And we are in a penalty situation, so 2 shots for Jonas Maciulis, who misses the first, and Eddie Jordan will get Dominic McGuire and Nick Young back into the game. Give Brendan Haywood and Deshaun Stevenson a rest. So it's Daniels, Young, McGuire, Blatch, and Petrov for Washington. Wizards went 41 and 41 last season. And as you recall, they were swept in 4 games by Cleveland after losing both Caron Butler and Gilbert Arenas down the stretch. Daniels, nice move. Didn't get the shot up. He got fouled outside, while Zalgiris is on an 8-0 run since the last time out. Popovich back in. Maciulis comes out.
Oh, defensively, you can see Zalgiris trying to really overplay the passing lane. That's when you have to loosen them up by going backdoor, get your cutters to be active, force them to play you honestly on defense.
Here's Nick Young, the rookie from USC. Nice move, lays it up and in. Nick Young had a brilliant career at USC, Pac-10 scoring leader, and Wizards took him in the first round. Then they took Dominic McGuire in the second round, 47th pick. Petrov was taken season before last in the first round. Fadeaway jumper not there, and Petrov the rebound. Season before last, the Wizards got into the playoffs, and they were beaten by Cleveland in 6 games.
Boy, super pass from McGuire. First with the penetration, force the defense to adjust, and then the dump off to Petrov, who's playing off the ball. Nicely done.
Of course, 2 years ago, that was a second round playoff series between Washington and Cleveland. after the Wizards went down 0-2 to Chicago and then won 4 straight games to take that series. Pretty three-point shot from Marcus Brown, who played college ball at Murray State in Kentucky. Portland took him in the '96 draft. He was 46th overall. Pistons also signed him, but he moved to France. He also played in Italy, Turkey, and Russia.
I was going to mention he also played with Sabonis when he was there in Portland. So, of course, now he's playing for his teammate, not with him.
Backs up, Phil, and misses the shot, and then Petrov is called for traveling. Did not see that call, but Eddie Jordan and his squad get up off the bench. New coaching staff that includes Randy Ayers, Dave Hopla, and Eddie Tapscott.
Well, we're going to take a look at the 3 rookies. You have Petrov there, Nick Young, and I believe this is Blatch here. And just a nice play. The penetration by Dominic McGuire, and then he dumps it off to Petrov for the easy 2. You like that move. He seems like he likes to go to his left. You know, sometimes you pick up those tendencies in players, but I've noticed a lot he drives to his left. Tonight, the 3 guys doing quite well. Even though McGuire hasn't scored, he does have 4 assists, and he's been very active at both ends.
We've liked a lot of what we've seen from all of these rookies, and they'll be called on. This is a Wizards team that, of course, is without Etan Thomas. Etan having open heart surgery back on October 11th, last Thursday. And then they did not bring back Jarvis Hayes. They did not re-sign Calvin Booth or Michael Ruffin. Those are the players lost for the team, and hopefully Etan will get back as soon as he can. That's a kickball. And then they brought in Nick Young, McGuire, Petrov. They re-signed Roger Mason Jr. Mike Hall is battling to make the team. Tony Massenberg is also on the roster right now, but not signed to a guaranteed contract. So the young guys are going to be a big factor on this Wizards team. Washington concentrating on defense from the very beginning of training camp, and that is a goaltending call.
Play nicely set up, get the ball to the high post, and then the lob pass. Blatch getting that shot after it touched the backboard.
The Wizards' lead is down to 11. They led by as many as 20. McGuire, there's his first field goal of the game.
He got it, but once again, driving to the left and then finishing off with the right hand.
Popovich, little strong, but right to Beard, and nice pass underneath. And Jurek shot not there. Blocked away. Mason the other way for Blatch on the baseline. Good. Boy, he is just getting scads of confidence.
And what's really good, he's hitting that medium range jump shot, open shot that he probably will be getting, especially early on in the season. He starts knocking that down with consistency. That would be great for Washington.
Marcus Brown off the pick. .13-point lead. 10 seconds to play, quarter number 3. Nick Young drives, lays it up, doesn't get the roll. Blatch is there for the follow slam.
Tell you what, he's just done everything right. He's only missed 1 shot, 7 rebounds, couple of steals, assists as well. Good night for Andre Blatch.
Having a monster game with 18 points. And Alexei Petrov, 3 of 7, 4 rebounds, 6 points. Young guys beginning to shine as Washington's lead back up to 15 after 3 quarters of play in D.C. Made both of his free throws, 7 rebounds, 18 points.
Again, these are hustle plays, alert plays. He's taking advantage of what's there, crashing the offensive board. His man had to leave to help. He took up the slack and got the 2-hand throwdown. You like all the things that he's doing so far. His numbers are outstanding, but his hustle and his alertness are also very impressive.
Blatch also has 3 steals in 20 minutes of play. And you look at the numbers through 3 quarters, pretty impressive.
Absolutely. You like that first one here, 50% shooting, 51% almost, also out rebounding their opponents. Actually out rebounded slightly.
So we're underway here in the final quarter of play from our nation's capital. Steve Buckhantz, Phil Chenier, and our Comcast Sportsnet crew. 3-pointer away and not there. Petcherov on a loose ball foul on Zalgiris. Charged to Tanaka Beard. Played high school in Ogden, Utah. Went to Boise State. In '93 was selected by Grand Rapids in the CBA draft, 76th overall, but he also played many countries: Italy, Spain, Istanbul, France, Venezuela, Russia, and now Lithuania.
You get to tour Europe that way. It's not bad. Well, Roger Mason has such a pretty release. You see the rotation, the ball coming off the fingertips, and he's got great range too. That was a walk.
And a missed attempt by Popovich, and Petcherov has it. And the 7-footer brings it up the court. Wow. Tip not there, and Mason the rebound.
Yeah, we've seen he and Blatch, both of them have to be aware that with the NBA players, a lot of them, they're going to step in and take that charge. So you really have to be in control if you're going to handle the ball in the middle on that break.
Now I'm getting a good look at Blatch's mohawk that he's got without the headband. Nick Young on the crossover, couldn't get it. Petcherov trying, knocked out of bounds, and it goes to Zalgiris. Petcherov from the Ukraine, not far from Lithuania. Lithuania's coach, Rimantas Grigas, said that while it's fun to play the NBA teams, he's not really worried about winning games. He said that's not our goal. We'd like to win games, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to get into a groove and get back to where we were season before last. Last year they struggled, couldn't get out of their group, but of course won it all a couple of years ago.
Well, you know, this is a team, as we said, that has a lot of history, a rich history in terms of winning basketball. They've had 13 titles the last 17 years. They also have a player that kind of connects the two teams. Enos Watley, who played for the Wizards back in '85 to '87. There you see Enos there. Also played with this team. In fact, he was a member of that last Europe Cup championship team and played with Arvydas Sabonis. So he's here right here. Of course, stays in this area. And up until about a year or two ago, he finally started taking up golf. He's been playing basketball up till then.
Follow slam, it won't count. Basket interference called on Dominic McGuire. Good idea. He was right up there to get it, but still in the cylinder.
Again, you like that mode of attack that he's always in. Ball just kind of hangs. It was just about to drop out of the cylinder, but good call by the official.
Enos Watley, SEC star down at Alabama in his college days.
He has a son that's a terrific athlete going to a prep school, local prep school.
Roger Mason Jr., speaking of which, went to Sidwell Friends and then Good Counsel here in the nation's capital. Petcherov can't find the range on that jumper tonight. And a foul called on Washington. In fact, Roger Mason Jr., who went to the University of Virginia where he starred collegiately, went to Sidwell Friends and was a classmate of Chelsea Clinton's at the time. And then came out of UVA, was taken by the Bulls, had a shoulder injury which caused him to drop somewhat in the draft. But hopefully has found a home literally here in Washington where he's born and raised. Beard blocked by McGuire. That's what he did in college last year. 5th best in the nation. And Mason Jr. is fouled by Marcus Brown.
I mean, you look at his build and you wouldn't guess McGuire to be the shot blocker that he is, but the quickness, the long arms, and again, just the tenacious attitude of staying with the play regardless.
Nick Young for the three-pointer, just missed it. Blatch is there for the rebound. He's got the open shot, but he won't take it. 8th rebound for him. Roger Mason Jr. connects on a three. And driving to the hoop is Marcus Brown. He got nudged and fouled, and he'll shoot two. Timeout on the floor with 8:42 to go in this one. And the Wizards on top, 91-72. Wizards lead Zalgiris by 19. They've led by as many as 20. Dominic McGuire, taken by the Wizards with a 47th overall pick, played his first 2 years at your alma mater, Phil, Cal, and then transferred to Fresno State, sat out the 05-06 season, and played as a redshirt junior last year.
And you mentioned number 5 in the country in block shots, showing you some of that talent there, but also setting up his teammates. A couple of nice assists, and he's been the real surprise of this preseason training camp. Of course, a lot of local fans wanted to see DJ Strawberry, who was still available at that time, get picked up by Washington. But, boy, you got to be happy with what they've got in McGuire at 6'7", guy that can play a couple of positions. And certainly is hard-nosed. Of course, DJ doing well out there in Phoenix. He'll be playing with them for a couple of years.
McGuire last year averaged 13.5 points, almost 10 rebounds, the 3.6 block shots at Fresno State, was second-team All-Western Athletic Conference and the WAC All-Defensive Team. Set the Fresno State single-season record with 114 blocks. And had 15 double-doubles and a couple of triple-doubles last year. And we talked about this in a previous game at his high school, Lincoln High School. Once blocked 18 shots in a single game, which was one shy of the San Diego High School record set by Jelani McCoy. And Dominic McGuire will be 22 years old tomorrow. So happy birthday coming up for Dominic.
Well, a nice move by Nick Young. Wants him to take it to the left and then spin back. And again, that's that type of ability that attracted him to the Wizards, and they were very excited when he was still available with the 16th pick.
Called the foul on Paulus Yankunis. There's Eddie Jordan. And Eddie's coaching staff, of course, Mike O'Korn and Phil Hubbard, his top assistants. There's Mike. And there's Eddie Tapscott behind them. Eddie's a new addition along with Randy Ayers and Dave Hopla.
Also Wes Unseld Jr.
Yep. And there is Randy Ayers to Eddie Jordan's left. And he has instituted a defensive philosophy, attitude, and presence.
My, how the game has changed. It used to be a time when you only had one coach, period. Now you've got 6 or 7 of them.
Well, as you told me, it used to be when training camp lasted 28 days.
That's right.
And every day was a 2-a-day. And now it lasts about a week.
So happy for the season to start, you know.
I bet you were. Nice rebound inside and put back by Tanaka Beard. Big presence on the court. Mason with a good crossover, and then he got Popovich out of position, and he fouled him.
And I think we're noticing defensively since the second half began that Zalgiris trying to pick up defensively really tight, but that opens them up to some penetration, and we've seen the penetration. We've seen them forced to foul.
Nick Young, and they call him for traveling.
Good call.
Well, officials, it's a point of emphasis this year. Once you establish your pivot foot, got to keep it down. DeJuan Collins pulls up over Nick Young and misses off the rim. But Machulis is there for the rebound. About 7.5 minutes to go in regulation here from Washington. Popovich free, no good. 93-76 Wizards. Andre Blatch having a huge game, lost it, then got fouled inside by Maciulis, and he'll shoot a pair of free throws.
Well, good thing they called that foul, because I thought Andre was stumbling a little bit and he was off balance. He was about to commit a traveling violation.
And we'll get Donnell Taylor into the game. Andre Blatch played in just 2 of the 4 playoff games last year in the series against Cleveland. Established career highs last season in points with 14 and had 12 rebounds in a couple of games, both of them here against San Antonio and Minnesota. And had 4 blocks in a game at Philadelphia. That also was a career high for Andre. Gets them both. Wizards from the line tonight, 25 of 28. Tony Massenberg up off the Washington bench to check in. And a foul is called on the Wizards. So here comes Tony Massenberg, who played his college ball not too far away at the University of Maryland. And is looking to become the first player ever to play for 13 different NBA teams. He's matched the record with Jim Jackson and Chucky Brown playing for 12 teams. And if he makes the Wizards squad, it would be 13. And I say teams, franchises, because you count Vancouver and Memphis as one franchise. Played for 3 different coaches at the University of Maryland.
So he's used to change, in other words.
Played for Lefty Drizel at Maryland, played for Bob Wade, and of course Gary Williams. Nice kick out, leaving the open 3-point attempt for Jonas Maciulis good.
That all started with Nick Young going for that steal. That left a 4-on-5 situation. The penetration forced everybody else to adjust and eventually leave the open shot.
And Eddie Jordan takes a timeout with his team up by 14. Wizards had a big first quarter, outscoring this team 33-18. The next 2 have been even, and 4th is pretty even. Washington maintaining that lead that they got in the first. We check the game summary.
Boy, what a night for Andre Blatch. 20 points, only missed 1 field goal, also 8 rebounds. Also cashed in on some assists and steals. Caron Butler, very solid. 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. And the turnover situation, Washington had no turnovers in the first quarter. They have 10 for the game. That matched with 18 for the game for Zalgiris.
So save for the loss in Chicago the other night, the Wizards have forced their preseason opposition into lots of miscues.
Yep.
Turnaround not there. 12,872 in attendance here tonight at Verizon Center. The home to the Washington Wizards, celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Short jumper off the glass and beautifully done for Jonas Maciulis, and the lead down to 12. Wizards led by as many as 20 in this half. Looking for Massenberg down low, instead to McGuire. Donnell Taylor, pretty fast move. He's probably the quickest player on this Wizards team.
That was an explosive baseline move, and then he finished right there at the rim.
Maciulis has 16 points, 15 in the second half, and then a loose ball foul will be charged to Zalgiris, and Jonas Maciulis can't believe the call.
He impresses me as a real hustle player. He stays after it. He's hit the floor several times. Watch him come from the top side, not getting boxed out. And then at the end of that play, after the foul was called, he paid for it. Caught a forearm from Tony Massenberg. That's his 6th foul.
Yeah, he is checked out of the game with 6 personals. member of the Lithuanian national team, and Danis Shalenga will check in as Tony Massenberg goes to the free throw line for the first time in this game. And Tony will have another shot. 1 of 2 for the big man from Maryland. 98-83, 5.5 to go here in quarter number 4. 3 more preseason games for Washington, all on the road. Atlanta, Detroit, Toronto. And a foul called on a reach-in. It's on Alexei Pecharov. And 2 shots will be coming for DeJuan Collins.
Alexei has to move those feet in that situation. Make sure he cuts off that lane. Force that pass. That's what Eddie Jordan wants to see his players do. Keep players out of the paint. Force them to make that shot and then recover to the perimeter shooters.
Collins had 17 points in the first half. His first basket, first point I should say, here in the second. Both of them coming at the free throw line. Played at LSU from 95 to 98. Then the Tuskegee Institute. Here's Donnell Taylor. Again quickly to the baseline and draws a foul on Paulius Jankūnas. Players that have made moves this year, at least 20-point scorers. Ray Allen, Zach Randolph going to the Knicks. He's made his presence felt in the preseason. Of course, Kevin Garnett, and we'll see Rashard Lewis here on opening night for the Wizards.
November 3rd, right here, first game for Washington, home game. But I think that's going to be a good addition to Orlando. I think he's going to have a big impact on them. I've always liked his game. He's a big 6'9", 6'10" guy that can shoot the 3, but he can also do some damage inside. You can combine him with Dwight Howard. Oh,
pretty formidable.
Absolutely.
You know, people are almost afraid to equate teams from the East with those of the West. But you look at the squads in the East, and it is going to be a dogfight this year for that conference. You've got Toronto, good, Orlando, Boston, Miami, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Washington. All of these teams are going to be vying for the title.
Yep. A lot of people are thinking that the balance of power starting to change from west back to the east. What a nice delivery again from McGuire. He was the one that got the assist. Nick Young got the basket.
Something that we noticed in the Summer League in Las Vegas, he could really do a lot more than just block shots. Had excellent court awareness, could pass the ball, could get his shot off when he needed to, was a very physical presence inside, and of course a great shot blocker.
And he has 5 assists tonight.
Three-pointer not there, but Collins the rebound. 4 minutes to play in regulation. Collins nearly palmed it. He got hammered by Massenberg, and he'll shoot 2. So Zalgiris, which lost to Golden State and Toronto, is in danger of going 0-3 for head coach Romantis Grigas. Fans, 2 upcoming Wizards preseason games will be broadcast exclusively online. Log on to WashingtonWizards.com on Tuesday, October 22nd, Thursday, October 24th to hear Wizards radio announcer Dave Johnson call each game live. In addition, Dave will be blogging on WashingtonWizards.com throughout each game and answering your questions during each broadcast. Log on to WashingtonWizards.com to listen, and don't forget to submit your question. And that game on the 22nd is on a Monday, not a Tuesday. Monday, the 22nd of October.
Of course, this year, Dave Johnson will have company in the broadcast arena there. Glenn Consort joining him as color analyst.
Give David a chance to catch his breath a little bit. Of course, he gets such a good night's sleep on those Select Comfort mattresses. I don't know why he would complain.
He doesn't sleep very much because he's up at 5 in the morning.
That's for sure. You just hope you don't have a hotel room next to Dave Johnson because you're getting up with the chickens. Pecharov stumbles inside, has it stolen away. Up ahead to Collins racing, and he lays it in easily. 104-92 with 2:47 to play in regulation. Wizards looking to go 4-1 in the preseason. Nick Young, nice pass. Petrov, he's hit hard and he'll shoot 2. Speaking of Dave Johnson and Glenn Consor, there are our counterparts on radio with the team all season long once again. 2 plane load full of Lithuanian contingent here in Washington that came over from Chicago, several others from New York. And they love their basketball in Kaunas. And right now their team trailing the Wizards 104-92. Does it help to play? I know it helps to play anybody other than yourself, but when you play an international squad like this, how does that benefit you as an NBA team?
Well, I mean, like you said, any game it helps. I think psychologically, obviously, you're going to be the favorite. They're going to be the underdog. You have to play with the pressure from all sorts. But to stay, again, into your offense, stay disciplined, and make sure you're doing what you want to do out there, not allow yourself to get kind of wild and crazy. That
basket that's taking this shot of us is being photographed by Kurt Farmer, our robotics. Look at that thing. There's a lot of wires on that. You don't want to touch that, Phil. It'll light you up like a pinball machine.
I don't think either one of us could touch it. Even if you were on my shoulders, you wouldn't be able to touch it.
Matt Schliffman is our other robotic operator here tonight, our colleagues from Comcast Sportsnet. And for those of you watching around the country on NBA TV, glad you're with us. Wizards have led throughout this game, led by as many as 20. Zalgiris cut it to 8 at one point in the second half. Here's Alexei Petrov, drafted 2 summers ago by the Wizards, but did not play with the team last year. He's from the Ukraine. 7-footer, excellent outside shooter, and has displayed some prowess with the inside game as well. They're hoping for his big frame to help out with the rebounding. That's going to be critical for Washington this year. Uric inside, blocked by McGuire. How do you like that?
Again, blocked it with the left hand that time and actually got it from a standstill. Jumped off of 2 feet straight up and got the block.
Averaged 3.6 blocks per game last year with Fresno State. That was 5th in the nation. Nice play. Good pass. And Donnell Taylor caught him sleeping.
The recognition of Nick Young. Yeah, he saw that defender sneaking up to try and help on McGuire. You had Donnell went back door and received the pass. You know, something in addition to the question you just asked me about the benefits of playing a team.
Well, I got another one.
Is the idea that, I mean, they're real excited to play these NBA players, so they're going to come out here with a lot of energy. And you got to make sure you match that energy.
Yeah, well, they only lost by 6 points up in Toronto the other night. And they're an excellent team, obviously. Meantime, as you saw a moment ago, McGuire got another block shot. Well, what a pass to Nick Young, and he scores. Oh, my. That thing had some English on it that bounced right up into his hand.
And that, you had back-to-back block shots by McGuire, giving him 4 block shots for the night. Remember, coming into this game, he was tied with Andre Blatch with 7 block shots in the prior 3 games.
Beard is fouled by Massenberg, and he'll shoot a pair, but Dominic McGuire at 6'9", 220.
And believe me, these are the kind of plays that really get the attention of coaches. They like, I mean, that's saving what would have been a two-point basket there, and comes right back on Beard, gets the block there.
And he keeps them in play as well.
Yeah.
Tanaka Beard, who has the hitch in his jump shot, the hitch in his free throw. And he makes the first, he'll have another. Mantis Kalnietis checking back in for DeJuan Collins, one of the leaders of this team and one of the 3 players from the United States on the squad.
Collins with a big night. He had 26 points, along with 7 rebounds and 8 assists.
A minute to go, and the Wizards set to improve to 4-1 on the preseason. Their only loss to Chicago last week in the Windy City. Nice pass underneath. Score the field goal and count the basket for Denis Shalenga.
Well, he had to get that shot off between two defenders, one being Donnell Taylor, who went behind him. Was that who the foul was on? Was it Taylor or?
I think they got Petcherov. Missed free throw, ball out of bounds. It will go towards Washington with 48 seconds to play. And substitutes coming into the game. Vilmantas Delys checking in. 6'9" forward from Lithuania. Nice pass to Massenberg, blocked from behind. Running jumper not there, and Petcherov the rebound. Shot clock is off, and the Wizards can hold for the rest of the game. Nick Young does not appear he'll take another shot. Well, he did.
He fooled you, didn't he?
And he nails a three, and how do you like that? What a way to finish the game. Nick Young fires up a long three, and hello, it goes. And there's a couple of seconds left, at least 0.6 of a second remain after Nick Young hits the shot to give him 15 points for the night on 6 of 9 shooting. So the Wizards do in fact improve to 4-1 in the preseason, winning tonight 115-96 over Zalgiris. For Phil Chenier, Steve Buckhantz, Wizards basketball, a presentation of Washington Sports and Entertainment, Comcast Sportsnet, and the NBA. So again, our final, the Wizards 115, Zalgiris 96. We go to the Comcast Sportsnet studios for Sports Night post-game edition with Michael Jenkins and Dave Branch.